It has been claimed that no one in the Munnoch bloodline has ever died from old age. Their endings are customarily violent and, in this civilized era, frequently delivered by their own hand. It was Olinda's father, Edric, who informed me that the most common cause of death in the family is suicide. After a while, if you're not careful, you start to get bored, and that can be terminal, he announced in his ponderous mahoganyed drawl. His mouth had settled into its natural resting expression, stretched slightly like a rubber band pulled taut between two thumbs. He had very large eyes, like a nocturnal animal or a bird of prey, set in deep, haggard sockets. The expression that they conveyed fused concern with curiosity, as if he had just caught sight of some potential threat in his peripheral vision. His dark hair was styled like a public schoolboy's, in a side parting that was combed across his scalp from the left temple into a gently sloping fringe. He was a tall, wiry man, who appeared to be in the midst of his 30s. There was something almost mantis-like about his poise, the way that he kept his elbows pinned against his sides, with his forearms bent slightly upward. The first time I met him, I wondered whether some form of muscular disorder had imposed this stance upon him. It was only after I had spent a few hours in his company that it became apparent to me that his bearing was rooted in eccentricity, rather than in any physical ailment. He swirled the contents of his whiskey glass, liquefying the pinpoint reflections of the fire, staring into the amber liquid as it settled, as if he was anticipating the emergence of some sign or portent. The flourishing chimes of faraway church bells resounded dimly through the darkened diamond lattice of the windows. "St. Simon's Stock, over in the next village. Wednesday evening practice," he mugged. "Aisling actually met him, St. Simon I mean, when he was a hermit in the 1100s. He settled the crystal whiskey tumbler on a mosaicked coaster that appeared to be Mediterranean or Arabic in design. "You get into a rut," he elaborated. "You start to look around and you wonder to yourself, what is the point of all this? That's why it's so important to resist the temptation to cut yourself off from the world. You need to make the effort to stay in touch with the free score and tenors, your mob. Cassia, our youngest, has been a bit of a worry lately. We're trying to usher her back into some kind of social life." 11 years after this conversation, I read Edric Munnoch's obituary in the pages of the Daily Telegraph, the same newspaper that he habitually used for kindling. It seems that one Wednesday evening in November, he had rowed out to the island on the grounds of the family estate. I expect that his journey was accompanied by the distant sound of the church bells at St. Simon's, ringing in chorus across the dark, rippled water. In a barren copse, on a wet carpet of dead leaves, he placed the muzzle of a double-barrelled shotgun in his mouth, and pulled both triggers. The notice of his death gave his age as 654 years old. Paul Findlay would have likely regarded this implausible number as a joke, made in questionable taste.